No matter your age or your stage in life, there's always something that we say, "Oh, I could never do that. I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm too tall, I'm too short, I'm too skinny, I'm too fat." There's always something that we think we can't do. Today's guest is a true example that that just isn't the case. Joyce Lei is with us today, and we are so proud to tell her story to all of our viewers and listeners. She is a lady from Lake Elsinore, California, who has achieved an extraordinary transformation. She's lost roughly 180 pounds and is being recognized by TOPS, which is Taking Off Pounds Sensibly, as the state queen. Joyce's story isn't just about weight loss, and we want to tell her whole story here. It's about the movement that she decided to begin, what kept her going when her motivation dipped, what kept her going and charging ahead, what first of all made her believe in herself, and what kept her going all that time, and how a supportive community helped her build a healthier lifestyle step by step. So, whether you think there's something you can't do, Joyce Lei is here today to tell us that we can, in fact, do something that we think is not achievable. Joyce Lei, welcome to Always Ageless. We're so
Thank you.
glad to have you on our show today.
Thank you. It's nice to be here and represent TOPS.
Yes, yes, and we're going to ask a little bit about them. Joyce, you are a rock star, not only in the TOPS community, where you were the 2024 California Queen, but before we talk about crowns and achievements, I want to know about Joyce, the person. Tell us, who is Joyce Lei? What's your background? Where did you come from? And what do you want people to know about you before you were celebrated for this amazing achievement?
I was born in Massachusetts and we moved here when I was 5. We moved to Pico Rivera, California, and I went through K through 12 at El Rancho Unified School District. And I graduated from Cal State Long Beach with a bachelor's degree,
Bachelor's in science, I think you said. Is that
Bachelor of
correct?
Science.
That's great. Okay. And tell us, and what were your goals at that time? What were your dreams? What did you hope to achieve at that time?
At,
Did you have any thoughts?
at that time, I was hoping to go to law school, but I didn't want to take out a student loan. So I
Oh,
worked for many years as a manager. And then I decided that I wanted to go into teaching. And so I ended up teaching for almost 25 years. I taught special ed
oh, good
and
for
I
you.
worked for LA Unified.
Oh, you did. And what grade did you teach, or what grade range?
When I was with LA Unified, I taught 6th through 8th.
Oh, tough age.
Yes.
Tough age. And I'm sure it wasn't easy because it was special ed either, for especially for that age. It's a tough age for any age, special ed or not, huh?
I love working with the special ed students, and it was a wonderful experience working for LA Unified.
And did you have health challenges or weight challenges growing up? Was it something in your house, or does it something that in your family, or is it something that just kind of came with most, like most of us, where we just eat more the older we get?
My weight gain started when I was 9 years old. Up until that point, I was normal weight. I came down with meningitis, and it left me with a severe kidney infection, and I had to take medicine for a whole year. And I ballooned up that year, and it took me a few years to lose the weight that I gained. But I was
Oh,
very fortunate I didn't end up with severe complications like some people do.
so that's good. And then from that point on, was your weight pretty much like kids your age, or was it
Yeah, and
something
until I got out of high school, then my weight would fluctuate up and down. And at one point, I was able to shop at the 579 clothing store, and I
Oh,
loved it. And I swore to myself, I'm never going to put on any more weight. Unfortunately, I didn't keep my promise to myself, and my weight would go up and down like a yo-yo, and I'd gain 30 pounds, lose 20 pounds, gain 20 more pounds, lose 10 pounds. So by the time 2018 came around, I was morbidly obese.
Oh, well, you're and we're glad to have you here, but we want to know that certainly that doesn't define you as a person by any means. We all have had challenges. So then what happened in 2018 that made you walk through the door of Tops for the first time?
It wasn't my first time. I joined in the 90s, and then I was working. And so when I moved to Lake Elsinore, they had a chapter, and it's a location that we call chapters.
Yes.
And they met weekdays, and I was working. And so I could only attend when I was on summer vacation. And so in 2018, even though I joined, I wasn't really ready to lose the weight. I joined, but it was coming off very, very slow. It took me until 2022 when I had a relative make some really hurtful comments about how my obesity was causing me not to be able to give people rides. And there was so many negative comments that this relative made to me. And that set me on fire. And I was determined that I was going to lose the weight and show that relative that I could do it.
So tell us about, you said that you were working at the time. Were you teaching still?
I was still teaching until January of 2021, and it was a 2 hour commute each way.
Oh,
And
you went to Pico Rivera, you didn't
no, I
move your
drove to
teaching this.
LA from Lake Elsinore.
Oh my gosh, well, I know what that's like.
2 hour
Although
commute.
although that was during COVID also, wasn't it?
During COVID, I worked from home. We did online learning, and that had its challenges also.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure, but you still stayed with LA Unified even after you moved to Lake Elsinore. So for our
Yes.
viewers and our listeners who may not be familiar with these specific cities and areas, tell us about how far of a distance that is and about what your
About,
driving distance
about
was.
70 miles, and I would leave at 5:30 in the morning to get there for 7:45 a.m. And if it was raining, I'd leave at 5 in the morning.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and you and I know what that driving challenge is like. So let's just tell people it's not only the distance that's the driving challenge, but the amount of cars on the road. As you leave Lake Elsinore, you're really in, what would you say, one of the most congested areas?
Oh, definitely. Anybody traveling to LA in the morning, it's horrible.
Yeah, because you're in what we call well, what do you call Lake Elsinore is really the Inland Empire, but even a
Inland
little bit
Empire.
further than the Inland Empire, right? When you're almost out of the Inland Empire, because to be before you get to the San Diego area. So that
I was
must have been,
halfway between San Diego and LA. I was in the middle
you were, yes,
distance.
yes, yes, that's true. So you decided, and I'm sorry that your relative was hurtful to you. Sometimes the people who are supposed to love us the most are the ones who are the least kind, aren't they?
Sometimes that's true, unfortunately.
And that's not very far, very very nice actually. So you decided then to make a commitment. They said something unkind to you and you said, that's it, I'm not going to put up with that anymore. So then was it in 2022 that you went back
In
committed with a
December,
new enthusiasm? When was that?
in December of 2022, that's when I decided to attend every week. With COVID, I didn't want to go out because I was so obese. I was afraid to end up in the hospital with COVID, so I
Oh,
barely went outside. So that's why, and it took me a while. December 22, I decided to go every week, and that helped me.
so but I must imagine that during COVID, was there an in-person room where you went, an in-person meeting?
They had meetings socially distanced at members' house outside,
Oh,
but I
really?
didn't go.
Outside?
Yes.
That's interesting that you did that. But fortunately, where you live, the weather's pretty good, so I'm sure
Oh,
that
yes.
helped a little bit. That helped. What was your deepest motivation? I mean, what was your life like? What were the things that you feel you missed out on from from your weight situation before you lost it?
Well, I didn't want to go very many places. I mean, I had a small group of friends I socialized with, But I isolated myself a lot because I knew I didn't look well and I didn't feel well. And I had already had surgery on both um, feet, and that also impacted me to lose my weight because I have a 35% loss in each foot. And so socially, though, I really was mostly isolated, and I don't have any family members that live close by.
Do you have children or a husband or a significant other?
I've been divorced twice, and I had series of miscarriages, so I was never able to have kids.
Oh, bless your heart. I'm so sorry. So, yeah, it was kind of a lonely journey, it sounds like.
But when you join TOPS, the journey isn't as lonely because the support you get from the TOPS members, there's so much encouragement. If you have a gain and everything, people will rally around, well, we know you can do better next week. And you never felt ashamed for any weight gains that you had. And when you had a loss, people would celebrate with you for your loss, just like I did when they had losses.
So so your why was pretty much, I mean, your own motivation. It wasn't, you didn't have a family member that was there to share your journey with you. You so what was it like day to day once you started TOPS? Tell us a little bit about that organization. Are they an organization where they supply food for you or
Oh,
you
no.
make your own meals? So tell us about them because most of the people who are listening to this or viewing this won't be as familiar with TOPS certainly as you are.
First of all, if you go to TOPS, the first meeting, it's free. You can check it out and see if you like it. And if you decide to join, it's $70 for the first year, $60 for the second year, and after the third year and on, it's $48. So it's very reasonable, and you pay
Yes.
chapter dues of $4 or $5 a month. So less than $150 a year. You get so much support. You get magazines, there's things on websites, YouTube, Facebook. So I
Yeah, that's
started going, and the people were just so kind. And we do what we call a program, and that's like each week a different member will share some health benefit articles or talking about what their journey's like, or maybe have you tried this food or have you tried this exercise, or we have discussions every week, so that's really important. And I just really enjoyed going every week.
and what were some of your near quit moments when you said, I know I want to do this, but I just can't?
Well, when I started, I knew that I needed to lose close to 200 pounds, and just thinking about that, I felt sometimes just like throwing in the towel, especially before 2022, because 200 pounds is so much to think about. So what I decided to do is to think about, I need to lose 25 pounds, and I'd focus on that. And I'd set a date, so many, maybe a month, or not months, like 3 months away, I want to be down to 25 pounds. And so that helped me. And I know they say not to use food for a reward, but I gave
Well,
up my favorite snack,
and
and
what
I would
was
go
that?
out. Lay's potato chips, the regular Lay's potato chips. And so every time I lost 25 pounds, I would go to Subway sandwich, and it comes with a little bag of Lay's potato chips. And that was my reward. I'd eat out at Subway, and I'd get the veggie combo sandwich with no mayonnaise and just mustard and vegetables, fresh, no canned vegetables. And I would have that meal, and I look forward to that. So I lost the 25 pounds, and then I thought, okay, I need to lose 25 pounds more. And so that was my reward every time. But those are the only bags of Lay's potato chips I had. And before, if it was a holiday weekend, like 4th of July weekends coming up, you could get, 4 bags of big family bags of Lay's potato chips for, $5 or $6. Within 4 days, I'd have all 4 bags eaten by myself. And so
Yeah.
I knew I couldn't eat that all the time, and I knew I shouldn't bring it in the house. So that helped me just staying motivated, knowing that I'm going to look forward to having something I really enjoy.
So that was your treat to yourself was your potato chips, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's interesting. So sometimes when I'm in a situation like that and I'm eating something I shouldn't, I only eat a little bit, my portion for then for that, that time, and then I throw the rest of the bag away, which is pretty wasteful. So that's probably you probably were smarter just to make sure you bought a small bag to start with.
Well, it
So
was a very small bag that came with the sandwich.
so did you have any plateaus, any times when it just seemed like you just couldn't lose another pound no matter how hard you tried?
Even when I was, really gung ho about losing weight, I'd hit plateaus. And then I'm thinking, well, I need to make more changes. And if you're on a diet and you don't make changes, you're not going to probably take off very much weight. So what I would do, I would try to eat 12 to 1300 calories daily. But when I hit a plateau, I'd go up to 15 or 1600 for maybe like 3 days. And then I go
Really?
back down to 1200, and sometimes that would kickstart it. Or I'd add different things. Okay, maybe I got to cut this food out. I'm going to switch from ground beef to ground turkey, and so I would make dietary changes. Because I had surgery on my feet and I have a loss in both feet. Walking a long distance wasn't something that was going to help me. So I bought an under table bicycle, which I use. And at first, I could only do maybe 5 minutes nonstop, but I can go now an hour on it
Really?
nonstop.
Really? That's great. And you still do that?
Yes.
Well, that's a great thing to do. I haven't heard that so much, but what a good idea. But Joyce, I haven't heard people say that when they were at a plateau, they actually added calories to their eating for a few days. What's the purpose of that? Shouldn't you be taking less calories
I
in rather
found
than
that it
adding
would
them?
I found that it would help me to kickstart my weight loss again sometimes. I tried that and it worked sometimes, and other times I would switch, what I was eating, or just trying to figure out what I can do. I also joined a gym. I didn't go very often, but I tried going to the gym, going swimming, and I just decided I would buy all these cookbooks and I go online looking for new recipes, because you
Mhm.
don't want to eat the same,
No,
handful of foods week after week after week after week, and knowing
no.
it's gonna take you years to accomplish a big weight loss goal. And so I probably have at least 100 cookbooks that I bought. A lot of them I bought at the Temecula Library used bookstore
Oh,
for a
yeah.
dollar or two, and I look on Facebook for recipes, and that really helped me, to change up my diet. But I always tried for a few days to see if that would help me, because you're not on your diet for those days as much, and that helped me.
And were there some friends in your group who you were especially close to that supported you well and you supported each other?
All the members, because the first group I belonged to was in Lake Elsinore, and it was a small group
Yes.
of around 8 people. And then I switched to the Temecula group, and it's a larger group because I wanted more motivation. I lost the majority of the weight at the small group, and I wanted more people to motivate me, so I switched groups. But both groups are very great.
And then there was a Facebook group, I'm assuming, where you shared recipes?
I didn't share, but I would go on there looking for recipes, and I came up with my own because I saw a recipe for baked apple. So instead of using the high calorie ingredients, I take one apple, I peel it, core it, slice it into 8 slices, put 2 tablespoons of unsweetened applesauce on it, and mix some cinnamon, and then stick it in the microwave for about
Really?
3 minutes. And that tastes pretty good. You have a nice hot dessert. That's
Well,
the only
I
one that I
I
shared.
love baked apples, so I'll certainly have to try that. I never tried it by adding applesauce, and then you just microwaved it for 3 minutes?
Yes.
Well, that sounds like a treat.
And I like that because I don't always want to eat cold apples, which I do eat cold apples, but I like sometimes a hot dessert.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, yeah, we all do, especially this time of year when it's a little bit cool, warm, colder out, and have a little bit of comfort food, so to speak. So tell us beyond just the numbers. How has your life changed over the last 3, 4 years?
Well, especially since 2025, the beginning of 2025, I became what TOPS calls an advocate. So I oversee 6 locations. Not only I oversee 2 in Temecula, 2 in Sun City, 1 in Hemet, and 1 in Lake Elsinore. So I go and I put on programs, which is like a discussion for each location at least twice a year. And if people have questions, members have questions from those 4 or 6 groups, then I answer them for them. And that's helped me because I get to know more people. And also, we have what they call a COPS lunch society, and that meets every other month. And that's for keeping off pounds sensibly. And because I reach my goal weight, I'm what they call a COPS. And so I go there and I met a lot of people. And I've also spoken at these area rallies that we have. And there's 4 of them for Southern California. And I spoke at 3 of them. And the 4th one, I was at my high school reunion. So someone read my speech. So I've done some
Oh.
public speaking at different locations. And also, since I lost weight, I've gone to speak at the Lake Elsinore School Board, Riverside County Board of Supervisors meeting because I had a cause that I wanted something to happen, which unfortunately it didn't. But anyhow, I spoke out at these neighborhood meetings trying to get what I wanted to be passed. So I've
And
become more active, and I'm more active in my church and volunteering. It keeps me
and you
busy.
must inspire so many people, not only I think for weight loss, but also for just that you took action and you did something that you thought was important and you followed through with it. I'm sure that you get a lot of comments about that as well.
Thank you.
So tell us now to the moment when you and I think this is you answered the question was when your relative said something unkind to you that you said, "That's it, I'm starting." And was that enough of a motivation to get you started that day? It was so cruel and so mean, and the place you were in your life, you said, "That's it, today is the day?"
It took me a few months after, to be honest, but I kept thinking about the comments. It wasn't one comment, it was probably a dozen comments repeatedly. And it really hurt, especially that I was too obese to give rides, and then the relative wanted rides. And it's like, it really hurt me. And so I thought, I'm going to lose this. I'm going to show her that I can lose the weight. And I did.
Well, and that's a great thing. That's great, and we're glad to have you here to tell your story today. So, so what was the reason? Was there, you said you'd had some surgery on your feet. Were there other health issues or mobility or um, anything else that was a problem for you at that time?
Well, also in 2018, I was diagnosed with cancer, and even that did not kick fire me to really become motivated to lose weight. I mean, I lost a little bit here and there, but that didn't even work. It wasn't until 2022 when my aunt made comments.
And you said, "That's it. I'm tired of this. I'm done with it. I'm going to show her she's wrong." Right? That
Yes.
made the difference. Well, good for you. So, if I had met you, Joyce, the week before you started, what would we have noticed about how you were feeling physically and emotionally at that time?
I think even though we don't like to admit it, I was sometimes depressed, isolated, more than I should have been. I should have been out there hanging out with people and doing things. And instead, I didn't go out to eat hardly ever with anyone because I didn't want people to see what I was eating. And so, yeah, I pretty much was isolated.
Well, so we're gonna hold that thought and go back to it and find out what you felt like after all of this happened and how much different you must have felt at that time. So let's go to so you had been a member of TOPS. How did you find out about TOPS?
Uh, Many years ago, when I was a manager, my boss joined a location, and I was going to try it out because I saw that he lost a lot of weight. And so usually people join Tops by word of mouth. And so he didn't say, "Oh, you should join," or something like that. At that time, probably I was over maybe 40 or 50 pounds overweight. Not too bad, but enough, that I needed to lose weight. But I saw him losing a lot of weight. And so I asked him, "What are you doing?" And he told me, "I go to Tops in Highland." And so I made sure when I became the California Queen, there's 2 chapters in Highland. I made sure that I talked to both chapters and I thanked them for having those chapters. Otherwise, I would never have heard about Tops.
Yeah, isn't that true? Is that true? So describe your first meeting. You were first there, you were sitting there. What surprised you about that group? What did you not expect to see
Which group are you talking about?
when your first Tops meeting?
Oh, the very first one was in Riverside, and the people were so friendly, and they have someone from the group will come and sit with you and talk to you to see what your goals are, and explaining how much weight they lost, and they were just wonderful, and I felt at home, so I decided to join immediately.
And Joyce, what were some of the first changes that you made? Was either in your movement, your habits, your routines, your food? What did you do first?
The first thing I did was I got rid of all the high calorie snacks that I was eating on a regular basis. Because I had that long commute, I felt I was deserving to whatever I wanted to eat because I was too tired when I got home to cook healthy meals. So I realized that I can control what I'm eating. So I don't bring in these high calorie foods that I know I can't eat just, a handful of Lay's potato chips. I'm going to eat the family bag. So I didn't bring that in, or cookies. And I cut back on regular soda to drinking sparkling ice or diet sodas, to
And
just make some changes.
did you set any now you talked about how you had been setting your goals, your 25-pound goals. Were there any little, did you track them or did you track them through your weekly meetings? Is that
Yes,
how you
we have
kept track of how you were doing?
we have these what they call weight book, and so and it's a little book, and I would look and see, oh, good, I only need 3 more pounds, and so I would keep track because I was looking forward to Subway and the
Oh,
chips
sure,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
sandwich. And I also found, after a while, I started out with size 32, not 32 waist, woman size 32 pants, and a 4X for the blouse. And so, as I was losing weight, oh, I'm now at a 3X, I'm at 30, at 28. And you should have seen how much money I spent in 3 years on clothing because I had, I couldn't wear them anymore. And I decided that because my weight had gone up and down over the years. So when I got to 28, I kept 30, but I got rid of the 32. So I could only go up one size maximum. So when I was down to like size 20, I had 20 and 22. All the rest of the clothes up to 32 were already gone. And I
You got
donated clothes.
yeah. So you had gotten rid of them already.
Yes, I got rid of them because didn't want to have to go out and spend the money again to buy larger sizes. And now I wear 14 or 16, and I wear like larger 1X.
Oh, bless your heart. So tell us, so what was the one thing that you stopped doing that made the biggest difference?
Um, Eating high calorie snacks,
And
uh,
those would be give us some examples.
potato chips, cookies, cake, donuts, French fries, fried foods. Now I eat more healthy. I eat ground turkey. I'm getting like boiled chicken or baked chicken as opposed to having fried chicken. A lot of salads, and I have this. I have this little container that I take my salad dressing to when I go out to eat because cut back on the calories and thinking it's healthy, I'm going to eat a salad. But when you put on the salad
Oh.
like a fourth of a cup of dressing, that's a lot of calories. So I take 2 tablespoons and it's 15 calorie salad dressing with me. And sometimes if I know I'm just going to have a side salad, I just take a little container. And if I go to a place where they have where I'm going to have a bigger salad, I might take a brand new bottle of salad dressing with me. So I know that I'm going to eat healthy and not eat all the calories in the dressing.
So when you started, you wanted to lose about 40 pounds. Is that what you'd said?
Oh, when I started in 2018, I wanted to lose close to 200.
Oh my. Okay.
And so that was so overwhelming. I mean, just think about 200 pounds. I
Oh,
ended up
I
losing 182.
yeah, I'm not, yeah, and I have the greatest admiration for you. I'm not sure I would have the stick to itiveness to do that. So how long did it take you, Joyce, before you felt you could say, ah, it's working?
When I lost the first 100 pounds, and that was in September of 2023. That's when I reached the 100-pound loss. And I was so proud of myself and like, okay, you did it. And at the time, Tops only honored you after you kept it off a year. So when I kept it off a year, I was thrilled in September 2024. And now I've
2024.
kept it
Okay.
off 2 years.
So when let's
And
talk
I
about
got this necklace from Tops for losing the 100 pounds.
uh
And it's
well
Esther
well
and
deserved. Yeah, well deserved. Let's talk about your hardest season. When was the time when you said, I'm tired of this. I can't do it anymore. I just am going to give up.
I guess early on when I first started and I wasn't going to the meetings very often, I thought about it. It's like, well, I'm not really going to the meetings only at summertime. And I was still working. And I felt like I was deserving of eating whatever food I stopped. And I would get, like almost a pound burrito that came with a large fry and a large drink on the way home because it was convenient.
Sure.
And I knew I had at least a 2-hour commute home. And so I did that. In the morning, I didn't have time to make breakfast because I had to get up so early. And sometimes when I get home, I had to work on reports for the special ed meetings that I was conducting. And so I just always was tired.
Sure.
And so I was really felt that I was deserving. And it took me a while. I kept thinking about what caused me to gain the weight. And that's an important component to losing your weight because
It
you
is.
need to know what your major triggers were. And I found that mine was the losses, like the losses when I had the miscarriages, the losses when I got divorced, the losses when my parents passed away. So those things helped trigger me to eat more than I was eating at
Sure.
other times. And I think
Certainly.
each of us need to reflect on that. Why am I overeating? Because we try to give ourselves justification. Well, I deserve to eat that pound burrito because I'm tired and it's going to be too much when I get home to make a healthy meal. So we have to really analyze ourselves, I think, in order to be able to maintain the the weight loss journey.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And we all make excuses. There's always excuses. So when you were on your way home or on your way to work, you're on your way home and you're ready to pick up that fast food, what was it in you that said that helped you say, "Nope, I'm not stopping there today."
I kept doing it all the way until we went to distant learning on COVID. I was still doing that, even though I was trying to lose weight, but I wasn't really trying that hard, unfortunately. But then I decided eventually, like I still go out and get fast food, but I look at how many calories. And I like going to Jack in the Box and getting the grilled chicken wrap. And I tell them not to put any of the dressing on it, just the hot
Oh,
sauce. So I leave off like the mayonnaise and different things. And when I order, if I do get a burger, it's the smallest burger, and I just want mustard because I know I can cut calories. Because if you cut 100 calories from what you normally eat in a year, you should daily.
Yes.
In that 1 year, you should lose about 10 pounds. So just cutting back, I switched, from eating butter to I can't believe it's not butter. That saves 65 calories per tablespoon. Ground turkey instead of hamburger or ground beef. Uh, I would eat turkey sausages instead of pork sausage. I hardly ever eat anything fried or, French fries or whatever. I'll get a salad instead or fruit or whatever if you go out to eat for breakfast, and I'll ask if I can get the omelet with egg whites instead of whole eggs.
Eggs.
Just making changes.
So, but then there must have been times when you I mean, did you work with the doctor along the way, or did you only go to the doctor? I wanted to ask this. Did you only go to the doctor when you had some specific medical situation?
Uh, for the most part, yes, that's all I went and like my yearly checkups and at the time when I first started in 2018, I was on high blood pressure medicine. I was pre-diabetic. For 10 years I was like 5.9, and the last time I had the A1C I was 5.5, so I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I'm no longer on high blood pressure medicine, so it really helped me. And I took myself off because I'm thinking, and I know that's not advice, but I took myself off because I was taking my blood pressure and it was getting too low. So I thought, well, I won't take it for a few days and see. And it was in the normal range. So I just decided, and I talked to my doctor about it because it was normal. And so
And
he
he
said, oh,
must have
you
been
don't need
so
it.
proud of you.
Oh, yes.
He must have been so proud of you. So let's talk about when how did your identity change? Did it
Well, when
did you like it when people recognized your weight loss, or did that make you feel good? Did you wanna hide? How did your
I,
identity change?
I felt really pleased because even after I started like losing about 50 pounds, people would notice, oh, you lost some weight. You're looking so much better. Keep it up. And then as I got to smaller sizes, wow, you've lost so much weight, especially when I hit like the 100 pounds, 125, 150. And it was nice because I didn't have to just go to the large size clothing stores. I can go now to a regular clothing store and find something because they do carry 14, 16, and large and 1X. But when you're size 32 and 4X, you can't go shopping really in a regular clothing store.
No, no, you really can't. It's not easy. It's not easy, that's for sure. Um, so did you kind of feel like a different person?
Oh, definitely. I definitely felt like a different person. And I remember going out to eat, and I would always cringe if the person said, let's sit in a booth, because I knew that I would have trouble fitting there. And now it's like, well, if I go out with friends to eat, I can slide right in the booth and I feel so happy instead of having to always sit on, a table with chairs. So
Sure.
it makes difference. I constantly think about, I don't want to go back to where I was. I need to maintain this. And people from tops and everything, when I see them and we're so proud of you that you've lost the weight and you're keeping it off, it just makes you feel good. And I think it gave me more self-confidence to
Oh, no,
speak up for the cause that I wanted to speak up. And otherwise I wouldn't have gone to the school board or the Riverside board of supervisors meeting to speak up for what I wanted to have them take care of.
yes, yes. So things outside of your weight loss journey are things that you've now been able to participate in that give you self-confidence and have done good things for other people, it sounds like.
Yes, I tried volunteering, and my goal was to get a library named after somebody. and I wasn't successful with that.
Well, you've still got time and you never know. You never know.
I'm
Well,
trying for something else.
there's a beautiful library in your area, the French Valley Library.
I've
Do you know
never
where the
been there,
French
but
Valley Library is? It's in Winchester?
I've never been there. But they put a small one down the street from me, and I was hoping they would name it after a fallen police officer, but they decided not to. They said they don't name it after
Oh,
people. It's
well, maybe there's still a possibility. So, okay, let's have some fun. I'm gonna ask you a few quick questions and you give me some lightning round answers. How about
okay.
that? Okay.
That sounds great.
One food that you still love.
Easy. Lay's potato chips.
Lay's potato chips. Okay, this is a great commercial for Lay's potato chips. We'll have to send this to them and tell them how somebody could eat their potato chips and still lose all this weight. All right. One habit you'll never go back to.
I think when you're in the car and you're actually driving down the freeway eating high calorie foods and then hoping that nobody would know that you ate that high calorie food, but they could see it on you anyhow.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. All right, here's another one. One phrase you'd put on a sticky note for someone who's starting.
Never give up. Find a support group to join.
Great, great quote. Great quote. All right, well, that's good. So let's go on. Let's talk about, your weight is not just about a number. And you just mentioned something that was really impactful. Um, was that how you could sit in a restaurant now that you've lost weight. And I'm sure for people who fly on airplanes, that's something else that would be important, that you could have a more comfortable seat if
Oh,
you were
definitely.
the right way.
My dad passed away in California, but we had his remains sent to Massachusetts. And because I was so obese then, I was lucky. I had saved all my change for many years, so I decided I'm going to fly first class because I knew that nobody would want to sit next to me.
Oh,
And
oh,
so it's definitely now. I haven't been on a plane since then, but I know if I did, people wouldn't say, "Oh, she's sitting next to me. She's going to take half of my seat." And so that
oh,
I plan to fly sometime soon.
oh, so sad. Yes, and yes, you should do that, definitely. So what's changed other than a number? Your mobility, your confidence, your relationships, your travel, and your daily joy, right?
Definitely, I'm so much happier. I'm out more, doing volunteer work, active in my church, active in TOPS, overseeing 6 locations. And I put on 4 workshops a year for the 6 locations that I oversee, a 2 hour workshop. I also put on a 6 hour event. It's a rally that we have for about 12 locations. And so I'm very busy with TOPS, and I really love the organization. I can't praise them enough. And I hope people decide to join. It's not costly. And I suggest people do it the old fashioned natural way. I know you can get surgery or take medicine, but you don't have to do that. And you need to consider that a lot of people that have had the surgery put the weight back on because they haven't learned really to control their diet and what they're intaking. And even people that are taking medicine, some of them have stopped and they're putting the weight back on. And there's some issues that you need to research before you take the medication because some people have had severe reactions to taking the medicine.
And they're still eating their Lay's potato chips, I'll bet you.
Oh, I still now I try maybe once a month.
Do you? Well, good for you.
I don't need 25 pounds every, but I don't need it
Absolutely.
daily.
So after this unexpected, these challenges, and after this huge weight loss and this huge accomplishment, how did people treat you? And tell me about your physical body. How did you deal with your body losing so much weight? I'm sure there like loose skin or, some things that you had to deal with. How do you deal with that, and how did you deal with the way that people talk to you?
I try to wear longer sleeves. I really want to have the surgery to lose to take the extra skin off my arms, but I don't know if that's possible because I was diagnosed about 6 months ago with lymphedema. And so I have major swelling in both from my knees up,
Oh,
and I need knee replacement surgery right now, but the orthopedic surgeon doesn't want to do it because my legs are so swollen. So till that happens, I've been in a lot of pain. So
I'm
I'm
sorry to
hoping
hear that.
someday I can maybe, even though I have the lymphedema, it's not affecting my arm. So I'd like to do that because that's what the people see the most. And I
Yes.
can hide it with pants or the dresses that I wear, the other hanging skin, and I'm not going to be trying to wear a bikini anytime soon.
Well, probably most of us aren't at our age. I do have to admit to that. Although we are always ageless, but we still, maybe not. Although there are probably people our age who would look great in bikinis. I'm certainly not one of them. So, tell us about this title that you won. So, what does being the state queen mean to you personally? What was that all about, and what did that do for you?
I was so honored. First of all, we have three regions in California. We have the Southern California region, then they have like the mid region, and then they or middle region, and then they have Northern California. So I found out first of all that I was Southern California queen, and then after maybe about 10 minutes later, I found out I was the state queen. So that really meant a lot. I was so proud of myself that I accomplished what I set out to do. And even though it took over 3.5 years, I thought, well, I stuck with it. And I was so happy to represent my location, which is the Temecula chapter. I just love that chapter so much, but I love the other five that I oversee also. The people are so nice. And I thought, well, hopefully this will motivate people to do it the old fashioned way because you don't have to have weight surgery. You don't have to take medicines. And I think this is a healthier approach to go is if you do it without those two aids because you might put the weight back on, I think, quicker, even though you can put it back on once you lose the weight because my weight fluctuated up and down. But I've kept it off. And I think this is the
Certainly.
healthiest way.
Yes, certainly you are a true example that people can do it this way and that it is achievable. So how do you define success at this point in your life? You've had some challenges, you've had some tough times, you've had some miscarriages, some divorces, but yet you've helped so many people I know with your special ed teaching. How do you define success, Joyce?
I think when you're successful, when you're happy with yourself, you feel good about yourself. And even though I loved working with the special ed kids, I still had some sadness always because I knew I was overweight, even though I decided not to do anything about it. And now when I go out and everything, I don't feel like if I go out to a all you can eat place and I get something, everyone's staring at me like, oh, look at what she's eating. Oh, she's so obese, and look at that. She took a piece of cake. Can you believe that? And I know people do that. And so now when I go out to eat, I don't think everyone's staring at me or looking at what I'm doing. I just fit in with the average person, and it makes me feel good.
And it's a great story. We thank you so much for sharing it. If someone is listening or viewing right now and they're thinking, I'm too old, it's too late, I've tried too many times, what would you look at them and say, Joyce?
It's never too late. We have people that go to some of the tops locations that are in their 80s, 90s, and one location had someone that was almost 100 going
Really?
to the meeting. So it's never too late. It might take you a little longer, and you might not be able to do the working out or whatever. But I suggest people go to YouTube, and it's YES 2 NEXT. So it's a number 2. Yes to next. And it's so inspiring. It's a mother daughter duo, and the mother is usually sitting down doing the exercise. And if you have trouble with your feet, try to do the arm movements that she does. If you have trouble with your arm movements, try to do the feet. But I'm sure there's something you can do if you Google and find these websites that might assist you. And you're not too old, and you're not too young to join. Also, a group. You have to be around 7 or 8, I think, to join tops, because I saw one lady that had lost her weight due to surgery. Then she was going on medication, and I saw pictures of her kids, and I felt so bad. They were like 10 and 12, and they were at least 50 pounds overweight, each one. So you need to try, especially, if you have grandkids around or whatever age and you're around kids, try to eat healthy around them. And you don't want to set your kids up or grandkids up for failure to become obese.
No, you don't. And most of the times when they're that age, they know that they're a little overweight because they can't compete with their friends at school, right, or on teams and so forth, so
And
the
kids can be
kids know.
cruel. They can be cruel, because I've saw that, if kids are overweight or if there's something different, some of the kids can be cruel, and you don't want kids to have to experience that.
Joyce, what is the message that you hope people remember about you?
That if I could do it and losing 182.4 pounds, and you could do it also. Just remember that you have to have confidence in yourself. I suggest you join a support group. Tops is wonderful, it's very reasonable, but get the help that you need. Don't bring in food if you have a family and you're buying food. If there's some food item that you don't like but your family likes, stock up on that. Years ago, when I started in the 90s, I was still married, and I don't like raisins, so I would bring cookies with raisins in it because I knew I wasn't going to eat them. So, find ways to help yourself.
Great idea, great advice. So I have to ask you, Joyce, before we close today, what did you say to your aunt? And did
I
she ever recognize your weight loss?
Oh, she saw me when I was down about 140 pounds or whatever, and she goes, "I'm so proud of you," and that made me feel good. But I never confronted, said, "You're the reason why I was so motivated to lose weight, so I could show you." But I really
Well,
wanted to show her.
at least she said that, and that was very nice of her. Joyce, we are so glad that you were with us today on Always Ageless. You're a perfect example that age is irrelevant and that no matter what our age or our physical situation or our lifestyle, we still can accomplish the things that are important to us. We're so glad that you're here. We're going to tell your story to our viewers and our listeners and anybody else who will listen because it's so important that people know that beyond a weight loss story, this is a story of human achievement. That you set your mind to something, that you had a goal, that you stuck with it and have continued to stick with it, and that it's achievement at any age. And we thank you so much for being here. We want to remind all of our listeners and viewers to come back next Monday for another great story. Send us your questions about what we can do to help you. We do respond to all this. And Joyce, thank you so much for being with us. And we wish you always the best. And we want to see you out there telling your story to other people.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
You're so
It's
welcome.
wonderful to talk about tops.
Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Bye bye.